Hello! Regular listeners to these diatribes will know that so far through this pandemic, I've not been over impressed with the media, who seem to moan about the government, come what may. If Boris and Co tightened the screw, they're a bunch of misery guts who want to bankrupt businesses, keep families divided, and stop any of us having any fun. If they loosen things off, they're endangering the lives of the old folk, ducking hard decisions and lengthening the life of the virus's rule. I say this by way of introduction because I'm going to disagree this week with a governmental decision. It seems to me that a third spike in January is inevitable if the proposed Christmas truce is allowed to go ahead. I presume the politicians must think that cancelling Christmas would be electorally unpopular and robbing families of their time together in days when a lot of us are spread far and wide, and Christmas is one of the few times when families have the time and opportunity together. Well, we spent some of our church's prayer group last night praying for shoppers. With the shops reopening, apparently the centre of Tamworth was crowded with consumers, not all of whom were wearing masks. Similarly, if you saw the Midlands news on Wednesday night, you'd have seen the ginormous queues of people waiting to get into the Fort shopping centre. Is this a good thing? The government obviously hopes it will boost the economy and save jobs. Indeed, it's an unquestioned assumption that the economy is something we all want to keep expanding, thereby ensuring we all get richer and richer. Anyway, that's the theory. Leaving aside the question, will an ever-expanding economy mean wealth will be generously served out and benefit the poor? Is it true that an ever-expanding economy is actually good for us? This week you may have heard the General Secretary of the United Nations joining the chorus of disapproval about the state of the world's climate and how, if we carry on as we are, we'll pollute the seas until all the fish are dead, the waters will rise and flood huge tracts of land, a lot of what's left will become uninhabitable desert, etc., etc., etc. Let's assume that all of this is true. What's causing it? It isn't in itself the exponential rise in the human population. The world, properly managed, can feed, clothe and house all the people we've got. What threatens the world is the accumulation of stuff. John Stuart Mill, the Victorian political philosopher, assumed that once decent standards of prosperity, leisure and education had been achieved, we would all spend our spare time improving our minds. He hadn't reckoned with the power of the modern advertising machine, which at this time of year howls at us that happiness and contentment are to be found in buying stuff, which of course they could be persuaded to sell to us at a profit to them. Could I suggest we don't actually need a lot of the stuff we're persuaded to buy? Cars would feel happier if they could get into the garages that were built for them, now occupied by stuff we've no room for in our house, half of which wouldn't be missed if someone burgled it. I once had to clear the flat of an old lady who, at the end of her days, was unable to mix with people and retreated into herself. Emotionally and relationally, she was very poor. And yet she had a decent pension to live on. What did she do with her money? Her bank statements told a sad tale. What was left over from food and essentials was spent on jewellery. She went no one. She went no one. She went nowhere, saw no one, but bought jewellery. The advertising machine had told her that the love and attention that she, like all of us, are looking for could be satisfied in the gathering of things. And she believed it. I have to say that when it comes to the worship of shopping, I'm an unbeliever. It doesn't meet all the needs of human beings, and as long as we think it does, the destruction of our planet as a habitable place remains a possibility. Who was it who said, "What shall it benefit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his soul?" Bye-bye. If I can switch myself off. Switch off. Just a minute. I'm trying to go away.